Welcome back to another episode of Eli, the computer guy goes. You got to put the at the end of it, or it's just not correct. Anyways, so how are all of you all doing out there? I had a fun time last night. I taught the Silicon Dojo class here in Asheville, North Carolina. We had 4 people show up. I'm happy teaching 4 people. But anyways, we went to one of the libraries here. The Buncombe County libraries are great places to do classes. Did the class on the OpenAI API last night, and it was a fun time. The video should be up on the main YouTube channel shortly, so that you can ignore it, and then you can come to this video and complain about me talking about politics. There is nothing more amusing than me putting up actual technology videos, having nobody watch the technology videos, but then have everybody come to my commentary videos and complain and say that I really should just stick to tech. And you're like, yeah, well. Anywho, so yeah, the insanity of the Iran war seems to be getting scaled up, and I'm gonna be curious to see where all of this goes. So one of the things I've been talking about for a while now, actually since Starlink started being used by Ukraine in the war between Ukraine and Russia, is this whole idea of the consumerization of warfare, right? That so many consumer technology products are now being used in actual war to kill people. And one of the things that I've talked about for a couple of years now is that whole question of when does somebody become a legitimate target, right? I discussed this before about the whole thing with contractors in Iraq. So I remember there was these contractors in Iraq. They were ambushed. Oh, it was horrible. They were hung. They were burned. Their bodies were dragged behind these vehicles. It was just absolutely god-awful. And we were told as Americans, look at how horrible these people are, what they're doing to these contractors. And so you think about contractors, and what do you think about? You think about the cook at Burger King. Because apparently Burger King now goes with the U.S. Army for whatever reason, right? You think about some clerk, some file clerk somewhere, maybe somebody driving trucks, bringing in food, that type of thing. And so you think about one of those people being attacked and all that kind of gruesome stuff happening to them, and that's really horrific. But then you find out the contractors that were attacked were heavily armed, heavily armored, and were basically going out doing military duties. They were soldiers in everything other than tax status. And so again, even though it's horrible, when horrible things happen to soldiers, that's kind of the business that they're in. When horrible things happen to Burger King workers, right, that's a little bit different. One of the things I found interesting there was basically how the narrative was created of basically how god-awful the Iraqis were for doing something to this stuff to these people that had a very particular tax status. And I get concerned. I get concerned when tax status comes into warfare because, again, at a certain point in time, if you are going to have laws of war, if you're going to have an idea of how killing each other is supposed to operate, right? It's trying to outsmart the other side in legalistic bureaucracy seems like a good way just to have your civilian population targeted, right? If it becomes too complicated to figure out who the civilian and who the soldier is, well, fuck it, just kill everybody, essentially, right? And so that's one of the things I get concerned about now with the consumerization of warfare, the consumerization of killing people, is that we have so many of these consumer level technology companies that are literally being used for slaughter, right? Again, we're talking about Starlink being used by Ukraine and apparently by Russia to kill each other. You talk about Microsoft, right? Microsoft literally being used in the ethnic cleansing going on in Gaza with the whole collection of all digital communication that was occurring by the Israelis against the Palestinians, right? You start to see more and more of this where this kind of consumer level technology is being used again in warfare. And what's curious, right? I started in the military back in the 1990s, and the military has always had technology, obviously. But in the past, the technology was supplied by military contractors, right? You don't confuse Northrop Grumman with Microsoft. You don't confuse Lockheed Martin with Amazon, right? You don't confuse the consumer technology companies with the military contractors. And the fact of the matter is, the people that go and work for the military contractors, a lot of them are ex-military, a lot of them are very patriotic, or however the hell you want to say it, right? There's a mentality there, right? You go to work for Anduril, and you know what the fuck you're selling, right? There's a company culture there. Literally affordable fucking mass. Like Palmer Luckey's buzzwords for Anduril is fucking affordable mass. And that's affordable mass to kill a shit ton of people, right? So if Anduril is targeted by Iran, or Anduril is targeted by, China or Russia or anything else, I think the cultures of the people that work for the company, right, they kind of understand what's going on. Whether or not they're actually prepared for the insanity of whatever that is, at least the culture is there, right? What becomes very interesting, though, is what happens when the employees of Microsoft or Apple or Google are literally started. They are now considered lawful combatants, or possibly unlawful combatants in warfare, and our enemies decide to start plinking them. And again, I've been talking about this for a while because this is a big concern. Hey, guess what? 2 plus 2, it equals 4. It always fucking equals 4. And so that's what we're getting with Iran right now, because Iran is now threatening our actual technology companies. Now think about this, right? Our politicians, our thought leaders go out there and they keep touting our technology companies, right? Our economy, our society depends on these particular technology companies. So if I was the enemy, I was like, oh, you mean the foundation for your society is held up by these particular companies? Oh, you mean those are the particular companies we should attack and try to destroy? I don't know. I'm just saying. But anyways, right? We keep talking about that. And so again, we talk about like NVIDIA, right? So NVIDIA is in Israel. Basically, Jensen Huang has talked about how deeply they are committed to Israel, how deeply they are committed to the ethnic cleansing going on there. I mean, it's part of their blood. It's part of their corporation, right? But anyways, so now Iran threatens NVIDIA, Apple, and other tech giants with attacks. Iran's Revolutionary Guard has threatened attacks on a swath of U.S. tech companies with operations in the Middle East, including NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, and Google. The Guard warned on Tuesday that 18 tech companies will be considered legitimate targets in retaliation for U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran. And again, think about this, right? You got Anthropic, you got OpenAI, right? They're talking about this being the first AI war, right? These big tech companies are being used to slaughter Iranians. Literally being used to target the leadership of Iran and apparently assassinate multiple levels down. So dipshit Dario is personally responsible for killing a shit ton of the leadership of Iran. You don't think that might cause some animosity? I'm sure dipshit Dario doesn't think about the thought of when your technology is supporting the slaughter of the leadership of another country, you might be in the crosshairs. Again, do any of you ever think about this kind of stuff? From now on, every assassination American company will be destroyed. They said in a Guard-affiliated Telegram channel, attacks on these companies would begin from 8 p.m. on Wednesday, April 1st. So that's sometime today, the Guard said in a Telegram post. The companies also featured Cisco, HP, Intel, Oracle, IBM, Dell, Palantir, JP Morgan, Tesla, GE, Spire Solutions, Boeing, and UAE-based AI company G42. It follows Iranian strikes on an AWS data center in the Middle East earlier this month. The tech firms have been funneling resources into the Middle East in recent years, specifically around the AI infrastructure build-out, with the region offering cheap energy and access to land. I do also find this to be an interesting thing. Like, we're in an AI war with China, right? We cannot allow China to get our high-tech artificial intelligence because of the human rights abuses for AI that they will use AI for in China. And yet Israel is literally using AI, literally stated using AI to do ethnic cleansing in Gaza. Right? We have Saudi Arabia that's ramping up their AI, UAE, Qatar. So all these monarchies that literally actually deprive rights of their citizens, when they use artificial intelligence, that's a good thing to deprive people of their rights. When China might possibly do it, that is evil. Again, one of my frustrations as an American. Let's see here. Tech firms have been funneling, quote, the safety and well-being of our team is number one priority. An Intel spokesperson said to CNBC, we are taking steps to safeguard and support our workers and facilities in the Middle East and are actively monitoring the situation. So yeah, I don't know. We will see how this goes. What happens? What happens when big tech companies become legitimate targets in a war that they are implicitly supporting? Again, I really think about that, right? Back with the army, I had my little love me wall here, right? I got my little army, got my little ordnance thing. I don't think I should be ordnance. Anyways, I was tech repair back then. But anyways, right? Back then, right? If you were in my shop or whatever, and radio equipment and comm equipment came in, and we were repairing it, and a missile dropped on our head, it would suck. But we were soldiers. It does become interesting again with all of this consumerization of war fighting. What happens when the Genius Bar is sitting there soldering equipment that's going to go to the front, and then they get a missile dropped on their head? Are they even expecting it? Are they even thinking that it's a possibility? What's going to happen with these technology companies when they really have to think about truly securing their facilities? Again, the security you need for military facilities is so far more advanced than what you need for civilian facilities. What happens when these companies that are all around the world really actually have to start thinking about securing their facilities and start really thinking about the safety and security of their own employees? It'll be curious to see basically where that goes into the future. What if that's like the next tagline for the startup company, right? The next company that's going to compete with like Google, the next company that's going to compete with Microsoft. It's like, come join our company. Our company. Iran doesn't even know we exist. We're so stealth. The IRC, they don't even know we're here. Wouldn't that be a hell of a time period? Hey, you know why you should join this company? We're going to give you great pay. We're going to give you great equity. And the awesome thing is nobody is even going to think to assassinate you. Anyway, 2026. Oh, you thought 2025 was bad. Oh, 2026 is going to be so much stupider. So what do you think about this? What do you think about U.S. tech companies becoming legitimate targets? What do you think about U.S. tech companies that are supporting war, that are supporting the slaughter of human beings, that are supporting human rights abuses, that are supporting ethnic cleansing and the whole nine yards? At the exact same time, the big tech employees, they're waving their very colorful flags, pretending like they're on the good side. What do you think happens in the modern Silicon Valley world if employees think there's a target on their head? Again, think about this, because I've talked about this, like being in the tech world for 30 years now, almost 30 years now, or over 30 years. We're in April. I've now been in this world for over 30 years, right? When I got into tech, when I got into IT specifically in 2000, right? That time period, a lot of us were ex-military, ex-government, that type of thing. If you told us there was a target on our heads, I mean, we were dipshits. We were like, yeah. That's right. They should put a fucking target on my head. We'll fucking kill them, right? Anyways, like think about it. Again, you go back about 25 years ago in the tech industry. Again, there was a bit of a different mentality for a lot of the folks that were in it. At least the people that I was around. But now you think about it in 2025, 2026, and you think about how many is it tech employees, right? They're just these coding boot camp graduates. They go to this crappy coding boot camp. They come out. They do some React development, right? What happens to your company culture when Iran puts a target on your employees? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be a hell of a thing. So put your thoughts down below. Are you ready? Are you ready for this idiocy? Do remember I do these videos in order to support Silicon Dojo, free hands-on technology education that empowers you to do whatever the hell it is you want to do here in Asheville and in Durham. We did a class last night on OpenAI API. We're doing a class in Durham next week on vector databases. If you're interested in these classes, go to silicondojo.com. If you want to support what I do, there's a donor box link down below. With that, see you all later.